Tanjiro's journey from a bright-eyed teenage charcoal seller to the warrior who finally ended the Demon King was full of loss and hardship, and is one of the most heartbreaking character arcs in anime. But what if Tanjiro had a chance to change it all? In today's video, we'll explore an incredible alternate timeline where Tanjiro is born with his memories. Our story begins in the aftermath of the final battle. The Demon Slayers have finally done the impossible, and with Tanjiro slashing through the Demon King from the inside, Muzan's body finally starts to disintegrate. But the Demon King has one more trick up his sleeve. In a moment of desperation, he pumps all his blood into Tanjiro, hoping to convert him into the most powerful demon the world has ever seen. Unlike the original timeline, Tanjiro's consciousness is completely wiped this time, and he turns to attack his friends. Nezuko, Kanao, and Inosuke are brutally attacked by the Demon King Tanjiro's new blood demon art. Tanjiro struggles to take control of his body, but Muzan's will is too powerful. With his immunity to the sun, this demonic form of Tanjiro lays waste to the exhausted Demon Slayer core. As he watches the carnage that unfolds by his own hands, what remains of Tanjiro's consciousness is filled with a deep sense of despair and regret. As his identity fades and is replaced by a demonic rage, Tanjiro wishes he could do it all again and save his friends from these brutal deaths, no matter what the cost might be. When Tanjiro opens his eyes again, he's staring up at his mother's face. Tanjiro notices that he's in the body of a young child, probably less than 10 years old. If this is a dream, it feels strikingly real. The wind, the smell, and the appearance of his surroundings all point to his ancestral home. At first, Tanjiro thinks this is a dream, and desperately tries to find a way to wake up. The last time he was conscious, Nezuko and Kanao's lives were in danger. But as the hours pass, Tanjiro realizes that this is no dream, and the psychological horror of being an adult consciousness trapped in a child's body overwhelms him. Tanjiro spends his first year as a child in a state of frustrated helplessness. He watches as everything unfolds just as they did in his memories, but realizes that it's still too early for him to do anything. But Tanjiro is patient. If he has to grow up again, then he'll use every single day to prepare for what's coming. By the time Tanjiro was 8 years old, his father had noticed something strange about him. He's eerily mature for his age, and he had an uncanny ability to sense danger. One winter evening, Tanjiro takes Tanjiro aside. He looks into the transparent world and realizes that Tanjiro is not the same child he once knew. "Tanjiro, you've changed," he says. Tanjiro doesn't argue with his father. Instead, he asks if Tanjiro will teach him the Hinokami Kagura and the breathing style behind it. Tanjiro always intended to pass down the dance of the fire god to his son, but teaching it at such a young age was highly unusual. But the fact that Tanjiro knew that breathing was the key to dancing throughout the night was the deciding factor. His father doesn't press for details and agrees to teach Tanjiro everything he knows. This is the divergence point, because unlike the original timeline, Tanjiro begins a slow, methodical process of learning sun breathing and conditioning his body for it. When Tanjiro is 11 years old, his father passes away, but this time it's not sudden, and he's able to give Tanjiro a proper goodbye. At this point, Tanjiro's mastered the basics of sun breathing without the Demon Slayer mark, and his body is still growing stronger. But more importantly, the massacre of his family is only a year away now. Now that he's had years to think about it, Tanjiro realized something crucial. Muzan only attacked his family because of the Hanafuda earrings. Think about it. Why else would Muzan himself visit a random cabin in the middle of the woods? So Tanjiro buries the earrings deep in the forest, miles from the house. He'll retrieve them later when he's ready. The night of the attack, the family isn't even on the mountain. Tanjiro convinces his mother that they need to stay overnight at Saburo's house, claiming he has a terrible premonition about a snowstorm. Kie agrees, as she's used to her eldest son's strange premonitions at this point, and isn't too surprised to see a powerful snowstorm raging outside. The next morning, Tanjiro goes ahead on and visits their house. There's no scent of Muzan or any other demons. The Kamado family survives the night, never knowing how close they came to annihilation. Tanjiro's intervention has saved his family, but it's created a massive shift in the timeline, as Nezuko never transforms into a demon. But saving his family isn't enough. When Tanjiro turns 12, he departs for Mount Sagiri to become a demon slayer. When Tanjiro arrives, Orokodaki is immediately suspicious. The boy is young, but he moves like a seasoned warrior. And most disturbingly of all, he knows things he shouldn't know. Tanjiro considers lying to be accepted as a student, but he's learned that lies have consequences. Instead, he tells Orokodaki that he's seen the future and wants to change the fate of the Demon Slayers. It sounds insane, but there's no other explanation for how Tanjiro would know about the Demon Slayers and even his former pupils like Makomo, Sabito, and Giyu. Orokodaki senses no malice from the boy, so he agrees to train him, but with one condition. Tanjiro must explain everything he knows about the demons to come. Tanjiro's time with Orokodaki is fundamentally different this time. Instead of learning water breathing from scratch, he works with the water Hashira to improve and refine his sun breathing. Orokodaki realizes he's training someone who might become stronger than any Hashira in history. The final selection comes, and Tanjiro doesn't just survive it, He systematically hunts down the hand demon and executes it before utterly destroying any other demons that cross his path. His performance is so overwhelming, it attracts immediate attention from the Demon Slayer Corps. When Tanjiro is summoned before Master Kaguya, his supernatural intuition senses something extraordinary in Tanjiro. Tanjiro makes a calculated decision. He doesn't reveal everything, as that may change Muzan's plans. Instead, he reveals certain things the Demon Slayers may already know about, including how Enmu will take over the Mugen train, or how Gyutaro and Daki are operating in the entertainment district. It sounds like madness, but Tanjiro's details are confirmed by the likes of Rengoku and Tengen. Master Kaguya makes a bold decision. Instead of sending Tanjiro on normal missions, he's assigned to work directly with the Hashira. Tanjiro becomes a strategic asset and helps Shinobu and Tamayo accelerate their poison research by describing exactly how the anti-Muzan drug worked in the original timeline. But Tanjiro knows he's walking a dangerous line. Every change he makes to the timeline could have unforeseen consequences. The Mugen train arc presents Tanjiro with his hardest choice yet. He knows Akaza is coming and has trained specifically to save Rengoku's life. When Enmu is defeated and Akaza arrives, there's a crucial difference. Tanjiro knows that Akaza's blood demon art will falter against the selfless state. As Rengoku gives Akaza a thrilling battle, Tanjiro becomes invisible to Akaza's compass needle and tries to end the demon with the sun-breathing ninth form, setting sun radiance. Akaza is beheaded but quickly retreats and regenerates before Rengoku can overwhelm him. Seeing dawn approaching, Akaza flees, realizing that he's actually at risk of being defeated by these demon slayers. Rengoku survives, and this single fact changes everything. Muzan becomes incredibly suspicious. A sun-breathing user overwhelming the Upper Moon 3 was completely unexpected. He still attacks the Swordsmith village since that was part of his plan all along. But this time, Kokushibo comes with Gyoko instead of Hantengu. Tanjiro is shocked to see the Upper Moon 1, and the battle takes a completely different direction. Remember, Tanjiro never fought Kokushibo, so he knows nothing about his blood demon art. So while Muichiro still succeeds in taking Gyoko out on his own, the battle against Kokushibo doesn't go well at all. While Tanjiro and Mitsuri survive the battle until sunrise, Genya was forced to sacrifice himself to hold off Kokushibo long enough to consume his flesh, resulting in a huge loss for the Demon Slayers. Following the battle, Tanjiro has a breakdown. He's 15 years old physically, but he's carrying the weight of 2 lifetimes, and it's crushing him. He thought he could save everyone, but all he did was trade Genya's life for Rengoku's. Thanks to Muzan being put on high alert, there's no time for Hashira training in this timeline. Muzan attacks the Ubuyashiki mansion, but because Tanjiro warned Tamayo and Shinobu much earlier, the anti-demon drug is already complete. As the Hashira charge at the Demon King, Nakime activates the Infinity Castle, and all the Demon Slayers are pulled into Muzan's domain. But the Hashira already knew this would happen when they first met Tanjiro, and they fight as a true coordinated unit. The Demon Slayers defeat all the Upper Moons, but the final confrontation with Muzan is still apocalyptic. The battle tears through the ruins of the Infinity Castle and spills into the streets as dawn approaches. When the sun finally rises and Muzan begins to disintegrate, Tanjiro is aware of Muzan's final trick. As the Demon King prepares to inject Tanjiro with his blood, Tanjiro bails from his attack and jumps away, letting the other Hashira run forward to deal the finishing blow. As Muzan's consciousness fades, the memories of a previous life come flooding back. He's fought this Demon Slayer before, and he was soundly defeated that time as well. Cursing his fate and the Demon Slayers, Muzan is simultaneously hit with the burning rays of the morning sun and Gyu's bright red Nichirin blade. The Demon King disintegrates, defeated once and for all. 3 years after Muzan's downfall, Tanjiro returns to his family's home on the mountain. He's 18 years old, but in another sense, he's much older. As the sun sets over the mountain, Tanjiro makes peace with his choice. He didn't create a perfect world, and he still couldn't save everyone. But it's a world where the people he loves are alive, and sometimes, that's enough. If you like this story, make sure to subscribe and switch on notifications so you never miss another Demon Slayer video.